Check, 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 check.
Where is Beaumont Outlaws? Two game win and one second. The Outlaws at 5. These two teams for the next twice this year is pretty fair. St. Albert. Last couple of slides. Outlaws winning the second and gets the rubber badge here tonight. I think it's learned their grades. I guess they learned that all as well. And move right to left on your screen while the Outlaws where their home news. Moving left and right. It's picked up by Porter. Fine. Great. Great out the center. We're taking outside to be honest. Rips it up the floor, but it's just full of. This Brian's being down in the Outlaws and think he reached the top. In the middle, but goes it into the pit. The ball to the far side of the floor, where it's brought up, and it off the fog show. After Rebels on Sunday, it's over to Liam Elliott. Elliott steps down and shoots. Stop there on the cloud is also off a big time performance last Saturday in that heartbreaking loss to the Mavericks by Sutherland. We hands it off to Hurricane. To go, trying to move down the other red, strong. Here goes the three. Here's chased by good throw. And a second check comes over. Temporary strip there. And well, it's taken to be my fourth. He hands it off to Dugan. Dugan. Like the far wall where Wells fell off. That back in the offensive zone. To the net goes Dickon. Dickon. Look into the middle. Fires it. Caught off by the wow. Kick over there. And he let it up. Hildebrand. Picked off nicely. And who's got the fourth ball? Fox up line fires. Spot by the cloud. This ball goes to the far wall, where it's picked up by Jesse Porter. He headmans it up for Cook. Cook to Hildebrand. As he jogs into the offensive zone. Hildebrand's fine. Fires and hits crossbar. That was a hard shot. Able for the top part of the net. Hildebrand gets it back, and now he swings it over to Porter. Porter over there looks great. Porter sends a sub shot wide on the far side. Look. Down low. Ball moves up to him. Hildebrand. Hildebrand. Take set there by Dugan behind the back guy. Bacon blocked down by the Crude. And St. Albert comes back over center floor. Right. Puts it over to Elliott. Near half left. Elliott. Hits over. Now that's passed. Filtered into Dickens. What's the weight of the net? Now it's got her. Here's 12. 12. That's up to 2-man game. Fall over to the left stoppers. Here's his brother. Close that. Well, that. It'll be talked about. Jumps around the deck. Elliott now. Couple of Outlaws over there. Waiting his move as the ball gets tossed up on one side and Fox shot finds fires goal on the cloud. I think early. Froggen battle for here at center floor. Knock down. People get for a year on the open house, April, early here, 14:39 to go. Great. Well, it's down to Hildebrand, down up to great. Center. Almost in front of the net was Elliott. Hot. Starts back. Started race. He's there by three. Not started race. Yes, race skips it down to Hildebrand. Picked off by Grow. Now as I've noticed it, 4-on-2 with Grow. Porter down to his brother and he gets stopped. Oh, it's Working like a big chunk of that. All stuck through his body. I'm trying to. Hands it off. Greg moved by Dick. Now up high. Well, Elliott winds, fires, stop by McLeod, rebounds Dick in, and stop by McLeod again. A couple of big stops there by McLeod. Now breakaway pass. Here's Porter in, and he fires that off the court side crossbar. Great shot there. Got Orbe moving the wrong way. Now the Outlaws transition back. The second opportunity could throw. Shot by Orbe. Comes back out of the six foot. Orbe heavy traffic. Two defenders pushing the doors. Balls. Get down like Outlaw. And there. As we sit here, 11:59 to go, first period. 1-1 in your score. Really? Yeah. Apologize if the audio wasn't loud enough. I hope I have fixed it. Feel free to let us know if that is the case. Outlaw over tell me that is yet. Back up here. Lead with possession. Ball over to Dickon. Dickon. To the net, Dickon, and he scores low on the cloud as he bounces it sort of through his arm. And the Crude take their second lead of the game. It's 2-1. Right. Over to Dickon. Dickon. Take that shot. Crude. Get the reset as it went up. Out off and Outlaw. Dickon. Down to Elliott. 2-9 game on the right side. Elliott blinds and fires to the short side. Stop on the cloud. Ball up high. Shot from the outside. Gets taken. Goes off an Outlaw and into the stick of McLeod. Off the turtle. Ball down low in his corner. Ball up high, Elliott. Elliott blinds and fires and best of McLeod. McLeod looks there. Moves the ball up the floor. It's gonna go down to Orbe. There's Orbe. Floor. Nice pass by the goaltender. Now Fry on the right side, up to Elliott. Elliott. Side stops easily by McLeod. From the Outlaw. Long for pass. Great. Great spins and stops here. Ball bounces together. 9:50 to go first period. 2-1 lead. Huckabee knocked down. Stands back up and footing. Outlaws turn back the other way. As Richardson gets it up to Wells. Wells. Go through the offensive goal. By Mason Smith. That's a go down. The minute. You get the ball. Great space. Now, yes. Wins it quickly. Move to the net underneath. Wide. Dick it out. Let's drag move and try to get it low. Both side just missed. Big cave. That's 2-on-1 here. Whoa. The net tried to push it over at the last second. Unable to bring it into the team. Over on the wrong side of the floor. Right. Gets it right. Right. Looks, brings it. Watch out, shot. Oh, again. Foul. Turns it away, and with 7:54, we'll get our first immediate timeout of the game. Crude leading 2-1 with 7:54 to go here in the first period. I'll let you know about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border is back in September as the Beaumont, Montana. Through the beautiful University of Montana campus. Learn about the Crude LAX program and get full ride scholarships that are available to Canadians all open to start annual. Off the job today by following us on Instagram at Battle of the Border LAX. There's the email. It's a pick there from Fry, trying to move the ball over to the left corner where Fox got a lot of basically control transition. Lots of heavy got his shot on. Benson for the crew. Benson over the Dickens. Dickens floats one into the middle. Now there goes with Elliott. Elliott. Got soaked by over a stick. Gene lost the ball. This is a potential danger here. Good fights for it. Ball goes through the ball. 2 seconds and it'll be the ball. Shuffles a bit. Regains balance. Here's Fry off the right side. Shot. Outside the cloud. We're all the way up to mid floor. Where Dubin has a break here. Dubin in. Bounce back and left. That's because we fall good. Hildebrand. This. Yes, they actually reached with the shot clock goes, and it'll be a 30-second violation on the outcome. 2-1 here, 6 minutes to go, first period. The home side. Here's Elliott. Back medals. Gets the ball in high. I think that's Valentine handles it. Now the ball gets thrown up and Richardson grabs it, gets it to Control. Control. And you gotta pull a fake to try to freeze her, baby. It's kind of legal for that shot to come in. And looked in rhythm there. Stenson gets it over the half wall and the front side. Watch it to Elliott. Elliott underneath and tried to go up over top of McLeod. McLeod stands tall. Plays it off. Yes. Raider tries to got it down. ball goes loose, McLeod will pick it up and they'll go to 10. Ian, Crude power play, and I believe their first of the game. Power play starts back up. What do you stop my job? Actually, had a rain. They're wiping this out. So we're 5-on-3 now. Big ton of events there. The Outlaws thought they needed to keep up, and now they go defend down. So really. Hanson 3-1.
Since number 82, and number 8,
Come back down. Fire. And gets it back over to Lemieux. Try to get it to Dickens down on the crease. Unable to reach it as the pass is down by his feet. And here go the Outlaws. Oof. Now they know the breath. 3-1 here. 3 minutes to go first period. It's gonna have to roll it into the and it's 30 just to bring it down. Crude come back the other way with 40 seconds to go into the power play and a 3-1 lead. Chuck Elliott. Down low to Dickens. Dickens. Elliott. Back to Elliott. Add the 5 lead to the third side. Going back to the far side. Fire. Well, 20 left to kill on the bad court. Fine. It's all over the ball. Make it 4 big. Block. Put the ball on the south side. Now do it. Fourth and a rough. A board. Yes, Elliott. Up across the dotted line. Liam Elliott around the net. And now Dickin, wide open Dickin, and shot that a little under and out release. Stop by the clock. Early. And the cloud would come out. Trader is going to come in with a breakaway. That's going to do it for the first period of play. Score. The Beaumont St. Albert Crude 3, Beaumont Outlaws 2. We want to thank you for joining us here with CROW LAX TV. All you got to do is hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. After one period, it is the St. Albert Crude 3, the Beaumont Outlaws 2. We'll see you in just under 10 minutes. Check, check. Check, check. And welcome back inside Kendall Recreation Center. The second period after this, you know. What's happening? Outlaw ball when he's ball interference. Grace tried to quickly get it to Hildebrand. He avoids the crease. Hildebrand, so nice. Flips it back up to Wells. And misses the first one. Wells tried to bat that his ball down and then came in off the left side. On the tree. And it cried. Excuse me. Soft up. Hesitates. Now he goes to the net. Goes down underneath, stuck in the cloud up high. Nice. The elbow. Brooks goes to the net. Draw. And actually, everybody get the ball after the state steps into the crease. Grace. Grace. Better steps to the net, scores. From the weird side, it's there. It's actually 3-game here.
Since the number 15, and number 15, Marcus. You're back in sound sometimes. It's on again, and then she's off again. You're good again. There you go.
You just take that one out, black one.
This one?
Yeah, black one.
The goal, scoop number 2. See. Your audio's good now.
Yeah, the levels have been showing up all the time. It's just that it's not coming through. Oh, it's
okay.
now it's yeah. Check. Right. I believe the audio issues have been sorted out. We apologize for that. And the storage wasn't working. I believe we have it fixed, so hopefully you can hear me at home as we pick this game back up with 14 minutes to go. In the second period, the Outlaws are leading the Crude now by a score of 5-4. The Outlaws with their first lead. Perhaps they might have been up 4-3. It's been trying to set this out, so I apologize. Once again, as the Crude come back to other way. And if the ball goes loose, and Control does good work there to pick it up. Here's Control to Richardson, and by Elliott. Quickly, watch up back and thinking now inside look. Stenson is cutting. Here's him. Outside rip. And then I believe the one to Control.
We go on.
As the ball is moved from Hildebrand. Back up through Hildebrand, now Grace. Step back shot. Sent wide, Hildebrand, loose ball. Hildebrand winds and fires off of the arm of Horbay on the short side. He goes and collects the loose ball. As Grace over to Wells, now back up to Grace. Grace, Hildebrand, and he tried to stuff that in the short side, and he was cut off there by Horbay. 5-5 here, 12.5 to go, second period. Kipolo tried to get it up to a cutter off the bench. No success there, and now Dugan works his way into the middle of the floor and muscled a shot on net, stopped by Horbay. All right, so I believe we have fixed the audio issues. Want to apologize for that as we approach the 12-minute mark of the second period. Thought I had it fixed a few minutes ago, but now I believe it actually is. As a quick look inside, stopped by McLeod, right on the doorstep, and now Bice is going to try and run this down. Bice and around behind the net. Ball goes loose, and it's picked up by Horbay. Ball up floor, and it's knocked loose. Hain is going to pick it up, and he's going to lose it again. Now the Crude throw a sloppy pass over the head of Elliott. As the bouncing ball goes back into the Crude zone, it'll be 8 seconds, and it'll be Outlaw possession. Shots 27 apiece, score 5 apiece here with 11-12 to go, second period. Here's Carter Grace. Underneath his man, Carter Grace dives across and goes far side around Horbay to make it 6-5. Off the draw, Hildebrand will grab it. And he's going to get the ball to Wells. Wells off of the near wall. Swings it quickly over to Porter. Now down low, Dugan in front, and Hildebrand didn't bring it in. Loose ball, picked up by the Crude. And they have trouble with it, but now Nikipolo will come back and hand off. But he misses Dickin, and it's going to be Outlaw possession. Those are the types of turnovers that tend to kill you, as Grace does a good job to grab that loose ball. Grace has 2 defenders around him. He backs out, and he gets the ball up high to Dugan. Dugan now over to the left side with Grace. Grace flips it back to Porter. Porter grabs the loose ball and sends a desperate shot at the leg of Horbay. Does a good job there to throw it at that spot because it ricocheted out off of Horbay, and it'll be Outlaws with a fresh 30. Pick set there by Grace, wide open. Grace to the net. Stopped by the shoulder of Horbay. Ball goes loose. Tyson Smith is going to reel that in. Smith has a guy right behind him, but he did not execute the check very well. Smith still hangs on to it. Smith getting pressured. Rolls the ball to the boards where it's picked up by the Crude. Elliott, swim move, goes down, and it's going to be tossed up floor. Gaudreau will run it down. 9:19 to go here, second period. Outlaws up 6-5. And here goes Brooks on the right side. He gets the ball over. As that shot comes in and hits a stick. Good soak there by the Crude. Now, swim move here on the loose ball by the Crude. As the ball goes loose, I believe that was Bilichuk. And now the Outlaws will have a fresh possession here. Grace down to Hildebrand. Ball swings over to Porter. Inside, and an around-the-world finish by Carter Grace. Just a ridiculous goal. And the Outlaws take a 2-goal lead here, 7-5. Unbelievable skill there from Carter Grace. Just the dexterity and the spatial awareness to finish that play. Just a ridiculous finish by the Outlaws sniper. They go up by 2. As we hit our second period media timeout, want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border is back this September in Montana. Tour the beautiful University of Montana campus, learn about the CROW LAX program and full ride scholarships available for Canadians. Learn more today by following us on Instagram at Battle of the Border Lax. We pick it back up here off the draw. They award the Outlaws possession. Here's Gaudreau. Hildebrand. Porter. As Jesse Porter got the ball over to the right side. Dugan winds and fires, and that hits some pipe. Looked like crossbar. As Cody Porter still has not returned to this game. So that's a big lefty out for the Outlaws right now, but they've really taken a hold of this game here in the second period after he went out in the first. Here is Jesse Porter. Takes a shot from a bad angle. It's smothered by Horbay. Horbay lobs one over the head of McConnell. And the Outlaws are going to get back-to-back possessions here. Here come the Outlaws. And it's thrown away. Sloppy play here. Ball is going to go off the end boards. And it's picked back up by Porter, who got stripped. Ball goes loose, and now the Crude have a chance to go. Nikipolo will run it down into the offensive zone. He backs into the corner, and he'll wait for some reinforcements. But he throws it away right into the stick of Sutherland. 2-on-1, Sutherland and Brooks. Sutherland gets a pick from Brooks, but he subs that wide. And now back the other way. Oh, the Crude. Drader in, and they're going to call too many this time on the Crude. So the Outlaws will go to the power play with 6:58 to go here, second period, and up 2. Outlaws power play, Grace up top. Fakes the behind the back. Now on the right side with Wells. Wells up to Grace. Grace tried to skip that down to the crease, but it hit a stick. And no over and back because it hit a Crude player. Wells takes an outside shot from well out. Goes off of a Crude player. That'll be a 30-second violation. Crude wanted to delay a game there as the Outlaws knocked it back, but official Wes Kendall says that was all right in his book. It wasn't late enough as Smith harassed there by Booth. Now ball up high, Fodchuk twisting around. Fodchuk tried to feed Dickin, breaking in on the far side. That goes too high, and here goes Richardson. Richardson to Grace, who stops and waits. Outlaws with 50 seconds to go on the power play. They look to extend their lead by 3 here. Grace plays catch there with Porter. Now Wells on the right side. Wells winds, misses the net. Grace collects the loose ball, and with the shot clock winding down, gets the reset. Here's Wells. Hildebrand. Cross crease, thought about it. Back up to Wells. Tried to skip that down, and then the ball went off the floor, and Porter still tried to, or sorry, that was not Porter. Can't quite tell who that is down there as a shot comes in off of the crossbar. Grace up top. Porter swings it to Wells. Back to Porter. Shoots that, and that's stopped by Horby. They'll get the reset. Outlaws with extended time in the offensive zone here. Grace, pick set there by Porter. Grace steps back and shoots. Mishandles that loose ball. And it's picked up by Dugan as Grace goes down, and I did not look good. Looked like no contact, knee issue, and then a great save by Horby as Wells had all day right in front of the net. As Porter tracks back on Drader. Drader across to Fodchuk. Fodchuk steps back and shoots. Stopped by McLeod. Outlaws have had the bulk of the play here in this second period, as they've just had about 4 or 5 possessions in a row on offense before that opportunity by the Crude. Well, Porter is back. Here's Cody Porter. Swings that, and that might have been him on the crease on that last power play. Believe it probably was. As Fry will go and collect the loose ball, or McConnell, excuse me. McConnell to Elliott. Elliott and Fry on the right side, joined by Dickin. Ball goes over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk up high. Dickin backpedals. Dickin, swim move, Dickin, and he's stopped by McLeod. Loose ball there by Elliott. Almost picked off by the Outlaws. And now Fodchuk circles back up and gets it over to Fry. Fry, Dickin. Dickin into the middle of the floor, and good foot save there by McLeod. Loose ball, Lemieux, cross crease pass, and Fry was denied there by McLeod. Now Bice up, and the Outlaws have numbers here. Hain has Wells out of the bench. Hain keeps it, and he scores as that rolls through Horby. That's a tough one for the Crude. We sit 8-5 here with 2:40 to go here in the second period. So the Outlaws strike in transition, albeit a pretty lucky goal. And the Outlaws are going to get another possession here. They've been full marks here in this second period. They've really controlled play in this period, gotten a lot of opportunities. Here's Porter. Porter gets the pick set there from Brooks. passes over the head of Dugan. Ball goes loose, pops up into the middle of the floor where it's collected by Porter. He bounces one at Horbay, and that's stopped. Crude back into enemy territory. Dickin. Has the pick set there. Dickin to the net. Stopped by McLeod. It just seems like Dickin can slow the play down and just sort of roll and meander his way to the net. Loose ball there, grabbed it by the Outlaws. 1:30 to go here now, second period. The Outlaws lead 8-5. Ball right side now. Heavy shot. Stopped. Loose ball, and Dugan is turned away there by Horbay. Dugan grabs it on a bit of a tough pass. Now he goes and collects while he misses the loose ball. And now the ball goes all the way to the Outlaw bench, and the Crude will pick it up, and they have a 2-on-1 here, but Huckabee doesn't catch the ball. Here's Gaudreau. Gaudreau now the ball with Hildebrand. Wells steps up high. Wells just rolls one in the direction of the net, and the Crew pick that off, and they feed Fodchuk, but Fodchuk waited for the bouncing ball, and it sort of fell out of his stick. Fodchuk heavily chasing that loose ball, and the Outlaws will pick it up and call timeout. With 14 seconds left in the second period, they'll have final possession in this frame. I want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Just hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. So Porter will have to start back deep in his own zone, as that's where the timeout was called. And they won't be in any real rush here, as you usually don't start your 6-on-5 until about 8 seconds left. But already down to 5 here, they gotta go. Wells try to go back door to Porter, who had snuck in around the net, and that went out of play. Looks like they're saying it maybe went off the Crude. I think they're just asking the clock, or the people in the box, to run the clock. As the bench is asking the box to run the clock. And they eventually do, and that'll conclude the second period of play. And that means after 2 periods, the score is the Outlaws 8, the Crude 5. We want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. After 2, it's the Outlaws 8, the Crude 5. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. And welcome back inside Ken Nickel Recreation Center for third period action, where it is the home team, the Beaumont Outlaws, leading the visiting St. Albert Crude by a score of 8-5. Shots after 2 periods see the Outlaws at 40 and the Crude at 33. And the Outlaws win the opening draw of the third. Brooks will handle it. Ball with Dugan, he hands off. That shot comes in from distance, where Nikipolo will grab the loose ball. Ball with Elliott. Dickin back pedals. Graham Dickin shoots that low and wide. And the Outlaws move back up floor. Here's Cook. Bounces that up awkwardly to Porter and does a good job of knocking it down. Hildebrand up to Wells. Wells from way out into the stick of Horbay. And the Crude will look to put a dent into this Outlaw lead here. As Hain picks that up on the loose ball and moves his way up floor. Hain rolls off a check. He's surrounded by St. Albert players, but he does a good job of buying enough time to get the ball up high to Porter. And now we've got something going on here. Can't quite see it along these boards, as an Outlaw went down, and it looks like a Crude player is going to be going to the box. And it'll be for cross-checking. So the Outlaws will go to the power play. A pretty undisciplined play there by the Crude as the ball had left, and all of a sudden you heard the Outlaw go down that had been surrounded and drew a penalty. Wells up top on this look. Grace not out on the floor as that shot goes in. From up top, Wells finds his range, and it's 9-5. Wells had been trying to beat Horbay low between the legs, and it wasn't working. Elected to go up top this time and found mesh. 9-5, the Outlaws lead. Ball gets knocked back, and Reich will pick it up. Reich quickly up to Stenson. As the clock hasn't started, and Elliott comes in and shoots the ball. As the clock had not started, played an extra 30 seconds here, but now it has. Lemieux up high. Elliott. Dickin stings one to the short side, and McLeod with the save. Fawchuk swings it quickly over to Dickin. Dickin now over to Elliott. Elliott circles up. Elliott winds and fires. And getting enough of that was McLeod. And the Outlaws starting to get on a little bit of a roll here, perhaps, as they had the Mavericks all but beaten and then had that game slip away. We'll see if they're able to finish this one off. up again, 9-5 in the third period. Here's Gaudreau. In fact, last time it was 9-4 on Saturday night, as Gaudreau tried to go to the net, squeezed off by Horbay. Crude ball, 16:30 to go here, third period. Outlaws with a 9-5 lead. Fodchuk down the far boards. He swings it. Ball is eventually picked up by Fry. Fry into the stick of Fodchuk. Shut off by McLeod. Quickly up to Porter. He's got a man up, and it was Bice, but the ball was not caught. So the Crude will transition back. Ball into the stick of Fry. Fry to the net. Fry, and a great move. And he's stopped by McLeod. That's McLeod's best stop of the night. He had McLeod bouncing back and forth between far and short post. And now Elliott rips it into the short side top corner. And the Crude get back within 3. And face-off violation, it'll be Crude possession. So Elliott with the snipe, and he gets the Crude back within a few. Dickin underneath, circles back. He tried to feed a cutter. It's picked up by McLeod. Hildebrand jogs his way into the offensive zone. So the Outlaws look to answer that last Crude marker. Brooks across the top, and he rolls one into the feet of Horbay, just shut off there. Here come the Crude. Fodchuk steps down underneath, and now he comes back up high with it. As right side now, Fry, two-man. He tried to flip it into a wide-open Elliott, but I don't know if that ball got knocked down or if he just faked it. Fry shoots that off the floor and out of play, and it'll be Outlaws possession. 14:30 to go, third period. Outlaws up 9-6. Dugan. The Outlaws, this is sort of the trap they fell into on Saturday against the Mavericks. They kind of got complacent in the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game. And we'll see if they keep the pedal to the metal here. And Hildebrand goes low, and they call goal. And it looked like the ball popped out of his pad. I don't know if that went in, but official Kevin Colhott with an emphatic signal goal. And he's right there, so it must have went in. Horbay didn't really argue all that much. And it's 10-6. And that's a big goal for the Outlaws. As I had mentioned, they had gotten a little complacent on Saturday, and the Mavericks were able to make that miraculous comeback in the last 7 minutes, down 9-4. And I'm sure they're cognizant of that and making sure that they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen again. Here's Dickin looking to the middle. Dickin rolls back. Graham Dickin. Pick set there by Elliott. Graham Dickin around the screen and shoots that into the body of McLeod, and now a Crude player is down on the floor. We will wait to see who that is. It's hard to tell from here, as he points to his knee. We'll wish him the best here, and Looks like he will get up with some assistance. That looks like Fodchuk, who went down. So obviously not a guy that Crude want to be having go down to injury. We'll see if he's able to return. Fodchuk makes his way into the hallway. We'll see if he's able to return. The Outlaws, in the meantime, will have possession. Porter over to Hildebrand. Wells in the middle of the floor, trying to seal someone down. Porter plays the two-man game with Brooks. Porter rolls off a check. Now over to Wells. Wells holding on to it. Now over to Brooks. Brooks bounces one into the stick of a waiting Horbe. And that ball was not handled in transition. Nikipolo unable to bring it in, and now the Outlaws will have an extended possession here. Porter rolls down. And the ball into the equipment of Horbe. 12:35 to go now here. The Outlaws up 10-6. In an important game here in the North. Again, the Outlaws came in third with a 3-5 mark, and the Crude came in second with a 4-5-1 mark. Now, obviously, the Crude had played a couple more games and had a 3-point lead, so this would narrow it down to 1 point, and the Outlaws would still have those two games in hand. As Sutherland gets chased into the corner. And now we have a call coming up here. And it looks like they might be taking both the Outlaws and the Crude to the box. And we'll play some 4-on-4 lacrosse. Be a face-off at center. Ball is won by the Crude, and they got a 2-on-1 here if they want it. And the shot's taken by Menon. Turned away by McLeod. Here's Wells. Down the far wall, Austin Wells. Fires it just wide of the net. Ball is going to be picked back up by Jesse Porter. As the two Porters go to work on the left side, and that ball rose up into the top corner and hit the crossbar on a bullet shot. And now back the other way is Reich, and he tried to tuck that in the short side, and it's smothered by McLeod. 11 minutes to go now here, third period. Outlaws up by 4. And they take their time, and too much time. And it's going to be Crude possession on the 8-second count. Here's Dickin. Into the middle. The ball bounces over to a Crude player just waiting there on the crease. Ball goes over the net as Elliott hits his defender in the head, and it's going to be a penalty coming up to St. Albert. As that shot comes in transition, stopped by Horbe, loose ball by Gaudreau, and the Outlaws are going to want to try and drain some clock here as we creep to the 10-minute mark of the third frame. Outlaws, again, in no rush here. Hildebrand. Porter. Seal set there by Hildebrand. Porter around it, and that shot goes wide. Picked back up by Wells. Dragged by Porter, and that shot comes in. They get the reset. And now the Outlaws are going to gain another fresh 30 and not have to go on to the power play just yet. Valuable time here ticking off the clock. They're going to kill it probably about an extra minute here. Hildebrand. Porter. Shot stopped. And again, if the Outlaws had just gone after that loose ball, they would have gotten it. They all stood still, and the Crude will grab it. And Elliott will make his way to the box. And that'll bring us to our third and final media timeout of the game. And that means that I want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. Tour the beautiful University of Montana campus, learn about the CROW LAX program, and full-ride scholarships available for Canadians. Learn more today by following us on Instagram at Battle of the Border Lax. So 9:23 here to go in the third period. The Outlaws will finally go to this power play and probably be relatively content to drain some clock, but it's important again for them to try to put this one away given what happened just a few days ago. The ball with Porter. Hildebrand back to Wells. As the Crude explode up. Needing to be aggressive here, Wells. Tried to hit Porter for a quick stick. Ball goes loose. And the Crude will grab the loose ball. Here's Porter. Ball down with Hildebrand. He looks to the middle. Wells. Ball is knocked to center. Well, the Outlaws will pick it back up and get a fresh 30. Here's Porter. Down to his brother, now back up high to Wells. Cross crease pass, and that is turned away by Horbe. Good save there by the netminder. Brooks. And you know what? I think Grace has not been in this game since the midway point here. Just sort of realizing that now. As he hasn't been out on the power play. As the Crude come back down. Smith. Fodchuk. And Smith finds his way into the middle of the floor. Stopped by McLeod. And here go the Outlaws. Cook. Chased there by Bilichuk. As the ball turns over into possession of the into possession of the Crude. And I think you'll start to see the Crude pull their goalie here as we creep to the 7-minute mark, and they trail, and them trailing by 4. Ball goes loose, and it's going to be picked up by Lemieux. And now a shot comes in, and it finds some mesh. The Crude narrow it down to 3 here with 7:02 to go. off the draw. Stenson grabs the loose ball. He's chased there by Booth. And now Stenson knocks it over to Reich. Reich battling with a couple of Outlaws, and then Stenson knocks Sutherland down. Outlaws, I think, wanted a penalty call on that. Won't get one. It'll just be interference, and it'll be Outlaws' ball. Here's Dugan. Dugan throws that behind Brooks. Ball pops up in the air and off the ceiling. Here come the Crude. That's going to be over and back, and the Outlaws take possession. Porter to Hildebrand. Ball back over to Hildebrand. Dugan's open down low. Doesn't bring it in. Now back up to Hildebrand. Porter wide open in the middle. Hildebrand elects to shoot. That goes off of a Crude defender, and it'll be Outlaw possession. Had a lot of these in this game where they've had 2, 3, sometimes 4 possessions in a row. Getting resets off of bodies, loose balls, and it's sort of been a big difference in this game. Hildebrand over to Porter. Porter shoots that low on Horbay. Hildebrand and now directs traffic up top again as they get another reset. Dugan into the middle. Porter cuts across the net. Stopped there by Horbay. Rebound and turned away again, and they say the Outlaws run through the crease there. Now with 5 minutes to go in the game, the Outlaws with a 10-7 lead. And Lemieux back up floor. Ball into the stick of Elliott, who quickly moves it down to Dickin. Dickin, underneath Dickin, and he tucks it in short side. And it's 10-8 now with a 4:49 to go. So things getting a little dicey now again for the Outlaws as the Crude win the draw. Here's Liam Elliott. Elliott up high, Fodchuk winds and fires. Stopped by McLeod. Long floor pass. Richardson runs it down. Good grab there as he gets it to Hildebrand. Outlaws probably needing one more to feel good about where they're at now in this game. Porter shoots that, and by good I mean put it away, as that ball goes back down into the Outlaw zone. It'll be over and back, Crude possession. As Tyson Smith works his way through a check behind the back attempt, stopped by McLeod. Outlaws gonna move it up floor here with Gaudreau. Hildebrand. Stepping in here. Shoots that into the stick of Horbay. Outlaws not really doing a whole lot all of a sudden on offense as Reich comes back down with it. Now here's Elliott to the net, and Elliott scores! And with 3:15 to go, could it be happening again? The Outlaws lead down to 1. And now the Outlaws will call a timeout. Try to gather themselves and try to finish this one off.
Timeout called by the Outlaws.
So 10-9 here with 3:15 to go. The Crude, having been down 10-6, have gotten this back to a 10-9 game. And they're going to look to try and even this up in the dying minutes. Face-off is pulled to the near wall. And Jenna Snyder will grab it for the Outlaws. Very rare occurrence, maybe the first female ever to play out in this league in the Junior B Tier 1 division. Now Hildebrand had all day and got stopped by Horbay. Now he gets his own rebound and he tried to tuck it far side. No go, but they do get the reset here. Here's Porter, back over to Bice. Or sorry, that is not Bice. But that shot goes off of Horbay and out. Important reset here for the Outlaws. Porter now down low to Hildebrand. Hildebrand rolls off a check. Hildebrand underneath, and he bounced that through Horbay, but wide and over top of the net. Crude transition back out as the Outlaws hit 60 shots on net. Crude with 49 of their own. A lot of shots in this game as Elliott was cutting and just unable to bring it in. Now loose ball is grabbed by Gaudreau, who races over center. 1:50 to go. Outlaws by 1. Porter. Crude probably get 2 more possessions in this game. Wells swings it to Porter. Strong side right, or strong side left, excuse me, as that ball got sent into the middle. And it's knocked down by Tyson Smith, who's going to grab it. And they're going to go up floor. Fodchuk. As the Crude pull their goalie in, they're going to go 6-on-5. Elliott. As that shot comes in from Dickon high, and McLeod gets his shoulder on it. Now a Hail Mary pass over the head of a bunch of players. Bounces back out to Porter, who pulls it out. Gaudreau back to Porter. Now Bice with a shot. And the Crude are going to get called for back in. And that is a big call because only 40 seconds remain here. And now the Outlaws, if they hang on to this, can get this game all the way down to 10 seconds. Looks like the Crude must have called timeout before they got called for the back end, and it's going to be Crude possession, I believe. As official Wes Kendall comes over to talk to the Outlaws bench. And explains the situation to them, and it will be Crude ball here with 40 seconds left. So the Crude will come up with their best 6-on-5 play here and try to even this game up. Ball has to start inside the Crude zone. It'll be run up by Bennett Fry. We'll see what offensive coach Callan Harris is drawing up here. Bennett Fry over to Fodchuk. Now Lemieux as Fodchuk races around the net as they try to go backdoor to him. Now all the way to the net, and Dickin drags his defender all the way to the crease and then puts it past McLeod to tie it up. And the Outlaws again with a big lead late in the game, see it disappear. And the Crude improbably come back from a 10-6 deficit in really the last, 5-6 minutes to tie this one up. Here's Hildebrand. Hildebrand has the ball knocked away by Reich. Reich is gonna fight with a couple of Outlaws. Now he gets some help from his Crude teammates. Ball remains loose in behind the net. And now the Crude come up floor, but the time is gonna come off the clock as Smith wastes one into the end boards. And that means we're going to sudden death overtime. The teams will play 5 minutes of overtime, and if still tied, will remain tied, and that's how it'll conclude. 2 minutes break here, and then we'll come back with 5 minutes of sudden death overtime. After regulation, it's the Outlaws 10, the Crude 10. We'll be right back with you in a couple of minutes. So we return here with 5 minutes of overtime, sudden death. If it remains tied after those 5 minutes are done, the game is concluded. And we're off here as an Outlaw gets sent to the floor. And the Outlaws come back the other way on the interference call. Up top with it, Hildebrand thought about it, got it down low as a Crude player is down on the floor, and they're gonna blow it dead. I believe that was Nikipilo as the trainer greets him and he makes his way off the floor. The Outlaws will maintain possession here. Now they're going to ask for a wipe of the floor. So we'll do that. With 4:47 to go here in the overtime, we remain 10-10. And we look like we're just about ready to get going. Hildebrand, far side, pick set there. Wells rolls to the net. Ball didn't get there. Now Porter off the loose ball, and that shot didn't get through. Brooks, Hildebrand. Again, the Outlaws without Grace here for the better part of the second half of the game. And then Porter went down really awkward. His knee kind of buckled, and he's down struggling. And I don't like to see that. As he gets attended to. Now a couple Outlaw coaches are making their way onto the floor. Usually not a good sign. And again, like he went to shoot, and it looked like his toe almost got caught in the floor a little bit, and his knee buckled. Trying to figure out where possession is going to go here. And as you can see, Porter needs some help here getting off the floor. Now, this would be a gutsy win for the Outlaws after having blown this big lead here and then losing Grace and now losing Porter. It would take a lot of resolve for them to come out on top at this point, but we'll see what is in the cards here. As here comes Fodchuk. Ball swings over to Dickin, down low. Into Fodchuk, he steps back, that ball goes off of something. And it's picked up by Gaudreau. And Gaudreau is gonna run into the offensive zone. Here's Gaudreau, he's gonna stop up and get it to Hildebrand. Outlaws continuing to work this possession. Here's Brooks. Brooks over to Hildebrand. Hildebrand into the middle. Pass was too high. And now Jesse Porter throws one at the net from a rough angle. As the Crude come back. Here's Tyson Smith. Run down by Porter. He hangs on to it, and he's going to go for a run around the net. Smith to Fodchuk. Fodchuk had Smith rolling to the net, just out of his reach. And Gaudreau once again will transition out. Here's Dugan. 3 minutes to go in the overtime. 10-10 the score. Tobin Dugan steps into one, off the floor and out. And it'll be Crude possession. Here's Josh Fodchuk. Coming back in to danger territory. Dickin hops around. Dickin tried to flip it back up, and it luckily was brought in by Lemieux. And now outside rip by Elliott, who had that far side and hit the post square on. Loose ball is picked up by Horbay, but he throws it away. And here come the Outlaws. Gaudreau, as always, is going to be the guy in this overtime bringing the ball up. Dugan. Just hold on to this for a while here. Dugan over to Porter. Porter floats one in on Horbe, and it'll be Crude possession. Here is Fry. He hands to Fodchuk. Josh Fodchuk. Up high. Now Cutter. It's Elliott behind the back, and he scores! Liam Elliott finishes the comeback off for the St. Albert Crude, and they win an improbable game here in Beaumont, 11-10 in overtime. Liam Elliott able to gather the ball in and in one motion come back behind his back and go up high on McLeod and splashes mesh. And the St. Albert Crude come out of here with a much needed divisional win. And for the Outlaws, a really tough loss here, as that's back-to-back games where they've blown big leads in the last 7 minutes of game time. The Crude will go to 5-5-1. They hit 500, while the Outlaws go down to 3-6. Your final score from Beaumont, the St. Albert Crude 11, the Beaumont Outlaws 10 in overtime. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight. Wish you all the best, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on the channel. Final score, Crude 11, Outlaws 10. See you in a few hours.